Hey everybody, I'm Rick Beato, and today's Everything Music, it's What Makes This Song Great, episode 90. The band is Nirvana, and the song is Smells Like Teen Spirit, coming up next. Smells Like Teen Spirit was the first track off Nirvana's second album entitled Nevermind. It was released on September 24th, 1991, was written by Kurt Cobain, Chris Novoselic, and Dave Grohl, produced by Butch Vig and mixed by Andy Wallace. How do I know all this? Because I remember when it came out. It was a song that radically changed the course of rock music, really of music in general, and is one of the greatest rock songs of all time. Before we start the song, I want to talk about how I first found out about Nirvana. In 1989, I had a guitar student when I was teaching college, a kid named Derek. He was an art student, but he took guitar lessons with me. One day he came in, he said, I want to play you this new group that I really like. And he brought in the Bleach album. I had a turntable because we didn't even have a CD player in my office. So we put on the album and I started listening to it. I said, is this what you guys are into? I mean, I was in my 20s, you know? So, and he said, well, this is what I'm into. And I think this is amazing, this band. And I heard About a Girl and I thought, wow, this is great. I haven't heard anything like this fresh since I was a kid. And then fast forward to 1991, Smells Like Teen Spirit, the video comes on MTV. I remember it like it was yesterday, watching it. I was like, that's Nirvana. Wow, what is this song? And that video just blew my mind. It was unreal. The power, the visceral nature of his vocals. It was a huge leap stylistically for them, these songs. Kurt Cobain was an amazingly good melody writer. But the addition, I think, of Dave Grohl in the band, especially on that tune, just pushed that band into the stratosphere. And it affected everyone. There was talk about the record before it even came out. I remember talking to friends of mine that worked at record labels. Oh man, you got to hear this new Nirvana record. It's unbelievable. The first single is going to blow up like crazy. You know, people say, oh, I thought it was going to sell 50,000 records or anything. But people that I knew that had heard the record freaked out about it. Let's talk about the intro of the song. Okay, so everybody knows that intro. It's such a signature intro. It's really stark, dry, scratchy sounding guitar, kind of sloppily played, although I always thought Kurt Cobain just played that way on purpose because it's actually really tight. But when the drums come in, it crushes, right? So here's that opening drum fill. So right off the bat, before we even talk about those heavy guitars that come in, listen to what Dave Grohl plays. Here's his drum solo. If you listen closely, every time that this figure comes up in the song, there's a little pause. He delays his kick drum because this is not quantized. And this makes the chorus so much powerful, that slight pause in there. Listen again. Listen. Right here. That little delay in the kick makes every single time around so powerful, right? Listen again with the band. And then they go around 2 times. Why? Because it's cool. 2, 3. So one thing about Nirvana that pretty much everyone knows is that they have these sudden dynamics changes. This is something they got from the Pixies. I mean, this is really a signature thing of the band. Sudden dynamic changes. Kurt Cobain would use distortion pedals because they're really instant sounding. Turn it on, turn it off. So when it comes down to the verse, with that drum fill, with that snare fill right here, goes right with the guitar, right? And then turns off the distortion. Opens up all the space, and you have that heavily chorused perfect fourth. We still don't have vocals yet. Here's the guitar solo. Listen. It's just a perfect fourth interval. The notes C to F. And it has this beautiful chorus. It's right in time with the song, right? And that, along with the bass notes and the chord progression, creates this really interesting chord progression. The first chord is F5, just a power chord. The second chord is B flat sus2. Then we have A flat 6, then to D flat major 7. Now, before everybody starts saying, well, Kurt Cobain didn't really know what he was doing, that doesn't matter. I know what he's doing, and I'm going to tell you what he's doing. That's really the essence of this. It doesn't matter if people know what they're doing if they can just do it intuitively. Kurt had an incredibly intuitive sense of melody that was very sophisticated. One of the most sophisticated melodic writers ever in rock and roll. When it breaks down to the verse, the bass goes to a simpler pattern. Do do da 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 do 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 da da. But the same chords: F, B flat, A flat, D flat, and the drums play a really simple, one of the most simple drum patterns. Do do da do do da do do da, with a hi-hat in there, open hi-hat. So that really sets up the mood, along with that guitar figure that happens that Kurt's playing. And then we're into the melody here. So here we go.
Load up on guns, bring your friends, fun to lose and to pretend she's overboard, self-assured, a dirty word.
So the scale that's being used in this is F minor, or F Aeolian. F, G, A flat, B flat, C, D flat, E flat, back to F. So that's the only notes that are used pretty much in the melody for the whole song, except for in the chorus we'll talk about. There's one different note. But this melody jumps all over the place and uses really great notes of the chord. Let's take a look at it. Okay, the first phrase.
Load up on guns, bring your friends, fun to lose and to pretend.
Kurt begins this melody on the fifth of the F chord, right? Load up on guns, bring your friends, it's fun to lose and to pretend. So he's playing the fifth, he's singing the fifth on the F power chord. And then he goes to the fourth, to the fifth of the B flat chord, and then to the root of A flat, and then to the third of D flat. Then down to the fifth of F, and then right to the flat 6. There's your Aeolian sound. And then to the ninth of B flat, to the root of A flat, and this is the best part, to the major 7th of D, and then down to the ninth or the 2nd of F. All those upper extensions, a lot of ninths, 11ths, major 7ths, the third on here, but this, that's beautiful, Aura. I love that. There's just great interval jumps there in the verse. Amazingly good melody writing. If I solo the vocal.
Load up on guns, bring your friends, fun to lose and to pretend she's overboard and self-assured. I know, a dirty word. Hello, hello.
The pre-chorus melody also uses these upper extensions of the chords, 9ths, 11ths, 13ths, or 2nds, 4ths, and 6ths. So it starts with the F. That's the 9th of the chord. The 6th or 13, major 7, beautiful, sharp 4, and then 9th to the root. So that's just a beautiful, haunting pre-chorus. All those upper extensions on the chord, or the use of the major 7th on the A flat chord and the sharp 4 on the D flat chord, just give it this really eerie, melancholy feel. When the pre-chorus enters, the picking guitar part goes to double time with distortion. Let's check it out. And then, drum fill. Okay, that drum fill there, what I love about it and what is great about it is that the kick drum pedals underneath the snare fill. Let's listen to it. And he has that flam at the end, so it's ticka 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 ticka. But listen to the kick drum go. Doo, 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 doo. That's a very Dave Grohl thing to do. It makes it a lot more intense. A lot of drummers don't play the kick drum or the bass drum throughout the fill, but he does it. Listen. Then he goes into the chorus. One more time. And always on the chorus, you're going to notice those crashes, as we talked about in the intro. Crash, crash, with that slight delay. Let's listen to the entrance of the chorus with the whole band. Let's listen to the vocals here in the chorus. This is the most incredible part of the song, is the vocal melody and the singing of the chorus. Here we are.
Hello, hello, hello. With the lights out, it's a dangerous. Here we are now. Entertain us. I feel stupid and contagious. Here we are now. Entertain us.
Not only is that incredibly well sung, it is so intense, and the melody is so perfect. This is what I call an angular or intervallic melody. This is the best example of it. It's jumping all over the place, using the best notes of the chord with the most intense singing, double tracked, and it has just so much power and just rage, or I think Dave Grohl described it as spitting nails. That's what it sounds like. You just never hear that anymore. I don't hear that. I don't hear people that sing with this kind of intensity. This is real visceral rock music. Okay, let me talk about the chorus next. I'm going to demonstrate it on piano because it's actually easier to hear the notes in relation to the chords. So this is what I call a lead-in melody, where the vocal has a pickup to the downbeat of the chorus. With the lights, boom, downbeat of the chorus. So it begins before the chorus to lead the listener into it. So it leads in like this. And that first note of the chorus is the ninth, or the sus2 on that F power chord. And then it goes root to the sus2 to the root of that chord, of the A flat, and then there's the beauty. That's the flat 6. The second time through on the F power chord, he goes, that flat 6 down to the 5th is so beautiful. It's so haunting. That's what I call a haunting tone, that flat 6 on minor, the aeolian, that really gives the sound, the sadness to it. And then, so there's all these big jumps. That jump there is a 7th. It's a flat 7 or minor 7th interval. On the D flat chord, it starts on the 5th to the sharp 4, and that sharp 4 is very melancholy sound. So that sharp 4 on the D flat chord goes to the 9th. So you have the sharp 4 to the 9th, and then resolving down. They're like appoggiaturas. This is a really sophisticated melody. It's haunting sounding because of the notes that Kurt chooses. The sus2s, the flat 6s, the sharp 4s. Those are intense notes, and that's a lot of melodic sophistication. I know you guys are saying he didn't know what he was doing. His ear led him to those notes, and that's really the genius of Kurt Cobain. Let's talk about this bridge section that happens right here. So the guitars and bass kind of play different things there. The guitars play this. So it's really kind of weird. It's just that's what it sounds like. It's kind of the first time it's played kind of sloppily, just to give a vibe, really. It's almost like there's not even anything there. It's just noise, just to add to the intensity of it. And the bass is playing this. You can't really even tell. Listen. I love that bass part there. So the first time he goes, and then does that weird chromatic thing. But this part is the most important part. When he plays the C on the second phrase, the guitar is playing an F power chord, and he's playing the fifth in the bass. And that fifth makes the guitar sound so much heavier. That's a characteristic of his playing. When I did the song On a Plane in one episode, I talked about in the bridge section of that he plays the fifth as well in the bass. This is a characteristic of his styles, using these kind of inversions. It's really great bass playing. Let's check out the drums at the end of the chorus, because there's some great fills that Dave Grohl's playing. Love those, just those simple tom fills, but the really busy kick drum. But those kicks are so tight rhythmically. And right there, that's a total Dave Grohl. Oh, great feel. And then we're back to the verse. We have the second verse, second chorus, and then we go into the solo. One thing that people don't realize about Kurt Cobain is that there were solos in pretty much every Nirvana song. This song is 5 minutes long, or 4:59. But what does he do in the solo? He does what you should do. Play the melody when in doubt. You can never go wrong with playing the melody. And he plays the whole melody. Now, nowadays, this stuff would get cut. You'd never have the melody go through this many times in a guitar solo. And then we have this beautiful feedback. Then it turns into well, whatever, never mind. Then we have this panning of the voices. The two voices are really panning between the two speakers like that. This is a thing that Andy Wallace did while mixing it. I want to talk a minute about Andy Wallace's mixes. People that listened to the record at the time, the guys in the band, didn't like the mixes because they thought that they sounded too good. They were too slick. I love Butch Vig as a producer, but there is a version of Butch Vig's mix of Teen Spirit that came out on their box set. If that had been released, nobody would know who Nirvana was. The power of Andy Wallace's mixes are what made this song hit. That's the case on the whole record. His treatment of the vocals, you know, people talk about, oh, he uses samples and this kind of stuff. Are there samples in there? Yeah, there's probably a kick and a snare sample blended in. They're definitely not replacements. I know of a grunge song that I did in this series that has complete replacement of the kick and snare. So obvious, yet I didn't point it out because it's not the point. The song comes across, nobody thinks about that. You just listen to the song and you hear the power of it. That's the important thing. And so that thing, I think, is just a non-issue. I'm not the only person that thinks that this is a great song. There's a lot of incredible covers of it that you can just find on YouTube, like these.
Load up on guns, bring secret. It's fun to lose and to pretend.
A denial. That is the greatest part of this song. It's just a denial, a denial. Listen to it. Just That's all for now. Please subscribe here to my Everything Music YouTube channel. If you're a first-time viewer, don't forget to ring the bell. If you're interested in the Beato book, you can go to my website at www.rickbeato.com. Follow me on Instagram at rickbeato1. Check out the new Beato Ear Training Program. Go and watch the introduction video at beatoeartraining.com. And if you want to support the channel even more, think about becoming a member of the Beato Club. Thanks so much for watching.